8:51 here, Big 550 KTR. Stephen Roberts joins us, political analyst extraordinaire joins us. Good morning, Dr. Stephen Roberts, ABC News political analyst.
I'm actually not a doctor. I'm a professor, but not a doctor.
You're a doctor of brilliant political deduction. How about that?
Okay, pal.
I don't understand why there's so much attention and they're throwing so much money at this House race in Pennsylvania, which is only going to be in existence for another couple more months.
Well, you're right about that. And also, one vote one way or another in the House is going to mean absolutely nothing. But the symbolic stakes on both sides are pretty high. Here you have Donald Trump. Last time he intervened in an election in the Alabama Senate race for Roy Moore, the Republican, he lost in one of the reddest states in the country. That was a blow to his prestige, a blow to his political clout. So he's got a lot at stake in Western Pennsylvania. This is a congressional district that he won by 20 points. He campaigned there over the weekend, and his goal is to say to his supporters, to say to Republicans around the country, we still have it. I still have the juice. I can bring out the crowds. I can sway voters. I'm going to campaign for you in the fall. We can stop the Democratic wave. On the Democratic side, the stakes are equally high. If they can win this election, it says to their voters, we can do this. Get organized. Get energized. Give money. Joe Biden said over the weekend that if the Democrat wins, you'd have at least half a dozen Republicans in other congressional districts around the country deciding to retire rather than get swamped by the blue wave in the fall. So it means nothing in and of itself, but the potential fallout on both sides of the aisle could be significant, McGraw.
But if he won the district a year ago by 18 points and the Republican barely wins today, clearly, either they don't vote for Trump or, Trump's a one-man wrecking ball and people only vote for Trump and don't come out for others. But basically, they lose regardless of what happens tomorrow.
Well, yes, but winning is still better than losing. If they win by a narrow margin, the Democrats are going to say, see, we did far better than the Democrat a year ago. But look, Trump both benefits and suffers from a basic fact, which is he has taken over the Republican Party. It was a hostile takeover. And he is his political clout is very much attached to him personally. It's his personal dynamic, his personal charisma, his personal presence that was so successful in 2016. But it has almost nothing to do with the Republican Party. He, most of his career wasn't even a Republican and has never been loyal to the Republican Party and disdained a lot of Republican leaders, and they disdained him. So when he goes out and campaigns and says, elect Republicans, it's very hard to see how he has much influence here.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, look, the guy is a minority president. He got 46% of the vote. His favorable rating has hovered between 35 and 40 for the last year. So he has limited clout. But one of the groups he does seem to work well with, and this is something to keep your eye on, are union workers. Traditionally, of course, unions were a bulwark of the Democratic Party. But you go back to Ronald Reagan in 1980. Ronald Reagan won 45% of the union vote. Even though every union leader said vote Democratic, the rank and file departed from their leaders. You saw that with Trump. He got 43% of the union vote in 2016. Keep your eye on the union workers in this district. Are they going to go with their union leaders, who are pretty much lining up behind the Democrat Conor Lamb, or they continue to drift to the Republican Party, which is something that's been true since Ronald Reagan, and certainly Trump took advantage of that. How are they going to vote on Tuesday? Something to really be really keep your eye on.
Stephen Roberts, while I have you, how big of a Stormy Daniels problem does the president have?
I think it's significant because, first of all, I think in the end, CNN is going to have the right to broadcast that interview. The law in this country makes it almost impossible to stop a news organization before they broadcast or print something. Afterwards, you can sue them for libel, but pre-publication censorship is almost impossible in this country. And I think it's an issue that's going to linger. I mean, after all, he denies he had an affair. But why did his lawyer pay her $130,000 if there was nothing there? It defies logic. And I think Stormy Daniels sees a chance to build her own career, to build her own notoriety, and she is not going away quietly.
But it was a consensual relationship. So a lot of people say, who cares? It's the campaign finance issue, the money issue. He's now saying that he's taken it out of his home equity line of credit. How much of a legal problem is this going to cause for the president and his campaign?
Well, there are potential legal problems here, as you pointed out. Is this a campaign contribution, $130,000 that his lawyer kind of admits that he gave her? Was that a campaign contribution? And was it? If it wasn't reported, there is some legal jeopardy there. You're right. In the end, people, as one evangelical said, America knew they were not electing a choir boy in Donald Trump. I think the fact that he cheated on his wife is not the big question. But if you start paying hush money to porn stars, that gets a lot more tawdry and a lot more seamy. And there's the question of lying. I mean, he has said over and over again, I had no relationship with her, when he obviously did. Or why would they have not? Why would they have spent the hush money? So you get these questions of the payoff, the questions of veracity, the questions of is he being straight with the American public, let alone with his own wife.
Stephen Roberts, that's why you're the doctor, my friend. Have a good day. Thanks for checking in.
Okay, pal.
ABC News political analyst